Hey ladies and gentlemen, Simon here with another episode of Cowboy Bebop to watch. The last episode delving into the backstory of Spike for the first time really, and we got to see a little bit of what he was up to before he was on the Bebop, and we got to encounter some characters that he'd met, or knew when he was younger. One of those being Vicious, who is this kind of very Sephiroth-like figure with the long silver hair, the long kind of katana-like sword, and obviously there's no love lost between these two. It's very apparent that at some point in the past, Spike was caught up in potentially some criminal gangs, certainly some shady dealings, and he actually brought Vicious into that world, and then they had some kind of falling out. Apparently Spike died, came back from the dead, and they really do not like each other. Now, what kicked all this off was some kind of an assassination of one of the high-ranking members of the gangs, and that kind of piqued Spike's interest, and reluctantly, some the other members of the crew, Jet and what's her name? I forget the name of the girl who's there, but Jet was very much of the opinion that he wasn't that much interested in helping, and you do kind of get the feeling that the working relationship between Jet and Spike is just that. At the moment, it's a bit of a working relationship. They don't have much of a friendship. But there was this really epic battle in this church-like setting. Spike being very, very gravely injured. And Vicious apparently getting caught up in an explosion. Which Spike, had very cleverly kind of prepped a grenade of some kind as he was falling out this window. Before he got picked up, I think Faye, wasn't it? Faye Valentine was the name. The good news, people, is you'll know that I'm getting a notepad and pens tomorrow, so I'm going to start taking notes on each show that I watch because it's probably a bit more professional of me to do that. So I shouldn't have as many memory gaps. I can go back to my notes for each episode, and I'll actually remember most of the stuff. But no, it was a super high octane episode, even more so than normal, and it was nice just to actually get to see some more of Spike, and see for the first time really Spike show more than just a calm demeanor. He actually got angry, and we got to see a bit about who he really was. So it was really interesting, to have a look at that side of, Spike's personality. So, but we're going to jump in. Before we do, I want to say a big thank you to my Patreon super supporters: Frank Tremel, Karen Abel, Ace, Nick Walters, The Seven Deadly Sins, Damon Smallwood, Michael Y, IrishCal, Richafa, and Isabelle Gros-Louis. So, without further ado, let's jump in and let's see what happens. Oh, God. Oh, what? That doesn't look like a typical hospital. Why do they all have blue eyes? Oh, that was a flashback. What did they do to his eye? He's got his own bowl with his name on it. You don't have your own bowl with a name on it, do you, buddy? No, you don't. Ugh. Did she just eat the dog food? Oh. They're in the bar for a bounty.
You kidding me? I listened to the blues when I was still in my father's sack, if you know what I mean.
Ugh. I know what you mean. I really don't appreciate the visual. It's good to see they're very wheelchair accessible in the future. So he's getting in a taxi to chase them. Should he get in a taxi to chase that one? And then you've got like a...
Zebra?
Whoa. There goes your bounty. 3 million Wulong falling to the ground. Oh. Oh no, unfortunately he's dead. Well.
Hey you, wake up. Hey.
Wake up, he's got a hole in his chest.
I lose the reward.
Invoice for what?
All the expenses you've racked up since you've been on our ship.
Ah.
And thanks for your business.
Yeah, great. Anytime.
You did eat the dog food. You know, that's not free.
Well, so you were after Giraffe too. Did you get a good deal?
Did he order all those desserts?
I always do.
So the bottom line is Giraffe was killed off over some internal politics.
Betrayal may come easily to women, but men live by iron codes.
Wow.
You believe that?
That's rather
I'm
sexist.
trying to,
You know?
real hard.
So, where's the kid's mother?
Who are you?
Just some suspicious guy.
What do you want here?
Before Giraffe
Is he
bought
the
farm,
is he Zebra's
he asked me
mouthpiece?
to come here to help you. Come here, let's talk.
Oh.
Better stay out of it. Little twerp like you sticks his neck out too far.
Yeah, all kids
No.
say that.
I know what I look like, but I was alive when this place was an outpost, before the asteroids were even settled. Get the picture?
How old is he then? Is he immortal? Is it something to do with the harmonica? Is it a harmonica of everlasting life? Oh. Oh, that's the moon. What the hell? What the hell happened?
I can't die. There was always someone
He's-
discovering me, doing experiments, but they all died, and I kept on living.
He's immortal.
For this guy started when his self-defense volunteer squad hit our R&D lab. I needed a new cover, someone to play the part of my parent.
Don't be fooled by him. By the way he looks.
Yeah. You were thinking that it was the guy in the wheelchair. Don't judge him because he's in a wheelchair, but it's because it's the kid. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I mean, I'm pretty sure if you put a bullet in the kid, he'd still die. Yeah, wow. He's using... Okay. Okay, not such a good shot. Nope. Great shot. Right between the eyes. What? I'm saying that about a kid getting shot. I shouldn't be so accepting of that. It's just weird. That's a lot of blood.
I have it now. I can do you in with this. This stone has the power
Oh.
you.
So that's the key to killing him.
Now hand Zebra over to me. Zebra!
Yep.
A kind of singularity that drew in vast amounts of energy, enclosing and crystallizing them into a single faceted stone, the gem that makes up this ring.
Oh, so that's from the explosion.
The same energy broke Wynn's circadian rhythm. His pineal body continually produces a substance like melatonin that inhibits aging.
Men are such total idiots.
And that's very sexist as well. Two wrongs don't make a right. Oh, that's a big explosion. See, this is what I don't get, is that, yes, his body produces something that stops his aging, but how does it stop him from dying completely? Oh! You got one shot. That seems too simple. Okay. Did you get too cocky? Are we about to see him age 100 years? Well, bye, kid.
I feel so heavy. But I finally feel at ease.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Enjoy it while it lasts. You're on your way to hell.
Do you understand? Do you?
It was a completely random episode. Okay, so that came across as a rather random episode, with this immortal kid, who again came out of nowhere, and I still don't quite get the science behind what happened. So a hyperspace gate breaks, seemingly blowing the moon apart, shattering the area with some kind of radiation. That means his body produces, the chemicals required for your cells to continuously regenerate themselves. That's, I guess, understandable. So that your body doesn't naturally age. So that you could, in theory, never die from natural causes. I mean, you could catch diseases and get stuff like that, but I don't understand how it stopped him from dying from a bullet. Because, natural aging is different to, having blunt force trauma, blow your brain up. I don't get it. That's why it seemed random. Because it didn't seem to relate to much of, anything. Apart from the very beginning where we were getting these odd flashbacks to Spike on an operating table, these very weird blue-eyed surgeons doing something to his eye. And again, there was like a blue crystal that it focused on that looked very similar to the eyes of the surgeons. And it makes me wonder if, they're trying to hint at something. Whether, they've replaced his eye, whether it's some kind of a control mechanism. Obviously there's something there they're trying to hint at, but they're going to wait before, they tell us more. Until presumably later in the series. And then we go off on another typical kind of, they're just looking for a bit of a score, they're looking for a bounty, and they get caught up into something so much more complicated than just the bounty. They end up with an immortal kid. And it was weird because, I like the twist where he's he's not what you expect. He's not what he looks like. And you're thinking, oh, because he's in a wheelchair. Because you think at first it's the guy in the wheelchair that he's after. And you think, oh, because he's in a wheelchair, be careful, he's much more dangerous. Don't just take it because he's disabled. To mean that he's not dangerous. That's what you think. But he's talking about the kid, which was a nice twist. It turns out the kid is actually the one who they're after. But it's still very weird because, the whole time you're sitting there thinking, okay, this kid's pretty evil. And, I'm happy to see him die. It's not often that I will smile at the death of a child on TV. In fact, I don't think I've ever done it before. Maybe technically if you counted Joffrey as a child from Game of Thrones, maybe then. I'm sure there's going to be one or two other examples, where the child is the villain. It just felt very strange. And was he always evil? Or did the years and years of immortality and experiments and stuff like that it turn him evil? I don't know. It was a very, very random episode. It was kind of out of nowhere. And it's kind of it's again mixing a lot of different sci-fi elements together. The space travel, the weird immortality aspect, and then, all the while kind of supplanting us with these little bits of background hints to Spike, and I'm surprised there was no mention of, what had gone down too much in the previous episode. No mention really of Vicious. Spike seems to have completely recovered from any injuries. It's almost, you could almost take last episode out of it and pretend it didn't happen and you wouldn't know the difference. So it's a very strange structure, this show. It's got a very, it's very episodic, obviously. It's trying to give you different styles every single episode. And so, and there's no real consistent story as of yet. There's a consistent theme of them, trying to go for bounties, then the bounties leading them into something different, and then missing out on the catch, by an inch. But, surviving and, winning out the day, I guess, is a reward enough in of itself. So there is definitely some kind of a theme to the show, but it's also so random, And I think it's got one of the slowest character developments I've seen. We really don't know much about these characters. You compare this with, this is the oldest show that I'm watching. This is 98, 99? Compare this with the show that I'm watching, which is the newest, which is The God of High School. At the moment, that's on about episode 9. I'm on episode 6 here, I think it is. So they're relatively the same, but even if I was to go to The God of High School episode 6, I knew so much about the characters at that point. The free characters that are sort of in the forefront. Whereas in this, with the free characters that we have, you really don't know a lot about them. And they don't even seem to have that close of a bond between the three of them. So it's an interesting style, and I don't know if it's because of the time that it was developed or if it was intentionally done that way. But it does make you think about, obviously, what is it they're trying to go for here? What's the overall aim? And, it's only when you get through a whole show that you'll be able to look back and say, yeah, this is what they were going for. But, it was still an entertaining episode. It's got a very different feel to anything else that I've watched. So, it focuses less on the sci-fi, space element, I guess, and much more on the bounty hunter, episodic villain of the day kind of element of it, which is strange, but, it's different, and different is always good, for the most part. So, yeah. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you for the next episode.